Okay, good afternoon. And again, my name is Marilyn for those who are first time here. And I'm the market producer for Ascensus Institute. And this is also previously known as ARIA Business. And we are committed to providing quality services and courses by experienced and resolute educators. We believe in nurturing every student and creating opportunities for career development to enable the realization of not only of your learning but also of your career or business goals, right? So through this webinar and other events that we will be organizing for you and we are organizing for you, we will be adding value through these learning interventions. And this is for, of course, professionals who would like to upskill for career development, whether it's for promotions or career transition. This is also for entrepreneurs and small and medium enterprise owners who would like to upskill to ensure that they will have business growth. And of course, for foreign nationals who are working or who would like to work in Singapore and would like to have an internationally recognized education. And today, our topic is decoding data, elevating business decisions through analytics and smart insights. And with that, Mohan will actually bring us through what analytics is, what are the current state of analytics, and how it has evolved in the past years, and finally why is it actually important and how can we use data analytics in our business. So today it's my great pleasure to introduce Mohan. He is the managing director of Gary and Pearl International Private Limited and also one of our lecturers at the Ascensus Institute, who will bring us or who will be sharing with us insights on how data analytics can be leveraged to make intelligent business decisions. So without so much further ado, I'd like to give you the floor, Mohan.
Excuse me. Thank you, Marilyn, and welcome everybody. Very good afternoon. So, as the topic is alluding to, what we are looking at is how do we use analytics to make some appropriate decisions for our company, for our institute, for our society in general. So this is a very interesting topic, and it's come about quite recently, especially with the development and the forefront, the major jumps in computing technology, and that's what has brought us to this point in time. Okay, so maybe a little bit about myself. Yes, I'm a lecturer with Ascensus. I started off my career in high-tech manufacturing, in using automation, using robotics, and then I subsequently worked in logistics and supply chain. Right now, Gary and Pearl is my company. I'm running executive search, so I'm now into manpower, right? So apart from that, I spent the last 11 years lecturing. So my background is engineering. I have a first degree and master's in engineering, and I'm PMP and CPL and ACTA certified. So that's a little bit about me. Okay, so let's get straight into the topic. What we're going to talk about today is firstly, what is analytics, right? And we will see the current state of analytics and how it has changed, how it's evolved over the past few years. And of course, what is it? What's in it for us? What do we gain out of it? How do we benefit from analytics? So first thing is, let's talk about what analytics is. So if you look at a few definitions, one of them you'll hear as the science of logical analysis, specifically the word analytic, right? And we also talk about the analysis of data They talk about large sets of business data, and we're using mathematics, statistics, and computer software, right? So there are a lot of tools involved. And analytics also can refer to the patterns or some kind of meaningful information you gather when you analyze data. Okay, so that's dictionary.com. Techopedia says it is a scientific process of discovering and communicating meaningful patterns that you find from data, right? What they are saying is they feel that analytics is taking raw data and converting it into insights so that you can make better decisions, right? So that is a similar sort of train of thought. Cambridge Dictionary talks about a computer examining information using mathematical methods, finding patterns, and getting something out of it. Informatica talks about data analytics as extracting some meaning that you get out of raw data, of course, using computer tools. And once you get that, you can then use it to transform, organize, and basically come up with some conclusions and patterns from the data. So if you look at all these definitions, what you can see is common is basically gathering, collecting, manipulating a large amount of data, right? And we also need to have a look and see what's coming out of it. What are the emerging patterns? What are the emerging trends and developments? And then once we know these trends and developments, we can then, as business leaders, as owners of companies and so on, make some key business decisions. Do we want to buy more? Do we want to sell more of a particular product? Do we want to move into another line of business? Right? So those are the kind of things we will get out of analytics. This is a short video.
Data is a valuable resource in today's ever-changing market. Across industries, professionals collect, analyze, and interpret data to inform decisions and drive organizational performance. This process is known as business analytics. There are 4 types of business analytics: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Descriptive analytics serves as the foundation and answers the question, what happened? It does so using current and historical data to describe trends and relationships. Descriptive analytics is especially effective for communicating change over time, such as tracking and reporting a business's website traffic. Diagnostic analytics addresses the next logical question, why did this happen? It helps determine the root cause of trends and correlations between variables. For example, a meal kit delivery company can gather data on why people cancel subscriptions to improve its products and services and retain customers. Predictive analytics answers what might happen in the future. It utilizes past data to forecast scenarios, trends, and events to inform business strategies. For instance, marketers can use prior year's data to forecast sales trends and plan campaigns accordingly. Prescriptive analytics answers, what should we do next? It involves considering all relevant data to chart an optimal path forward. Product managers for a new mobile app can employ beta testing to determine which features to include or exclude to optimize the user experience. Leveraging these business analytics types in tandem can provide a full picture of the story data tells and lead to more informed decision-making. Do you want to learn more about how data analysis can enable you and your organization to succeed? Use the links in the video description to visit our Business Insights blog and explore our online course, Business Analytics.
So we can see that analytics is mainly these 4 areas, which is descriptive, right? like the video mentioned, what happened? What are we seeing? Right? So we interpret some of the data and see what's going on, what are the patterns, what's changing. We also look at diagnostic. So diagnostic says something is going wrong, something has changed. What caused something to change? What caused a problem? Right? So that helps us to dig deeper. We also use analytics as predictive, right? So you can see that analytics is used, for example, getting a lot of past data. From the past data, you can actually see what is going to happen. And once you see a trend, you can then predict what is going to happen next. So that's predictive. The last area is prescriptive. So prescriptive talks about what are our possible options? What can we do next? What if I do this? What if I do that? So let's look at a few different scenarios, and we can even use analytics to tell us, out of these few scenarios, which one will give us the best results. All right? So those are some areas where we can use analytics. So what is happening? How is analytics evolving? And what's happening now? So if you look at some of the current players in analytics, these are some of the top 10. There could be many, many more on this list. But basically, all these are different software systems and run by different companies. But they have some common agenda, some common trends. So first thing is, of course, all these systems look at automated analysis and solutions, right? So meaning to say that you do not have to roll up your sleeves and do a lot of work. What you need to do is let the data, let the observations of your organization flow in. And what the system will do is it will automatically give you analysis, give you some kind of meaning to your data, right? They are all statistical tools. They use a lot of statistics, a lot of mathematics in that area. And as mentioned earlier, it can be used as a predictive pattern algorithm. So what's happening next? What's emerging? What do we see coming out? That is where we can use the data. All these software are tailored to different people at different levels of organization. So what they can do is give you a wide range of report formats, right? So if you were the data scientist, right, you love to see lots of charts and tables and regression curves and so on, right? But if you are the CEO, the COO, right, one of the C-level heads, you want to know just a simple summary. What is this going to help us with, right? So that's where the range of report formats will be good. They are all very visual, so they have dashboards, data visualization, and easily customized. There's real-time trend forecasting, so we can know where our business is moving. And of course, all these uses machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? So this is something that is now in the forefront today, and all these tools are in the middle of it. So how has analytics evolved over the past few years? So the first thing is we started off with analytics 1.0, right? So that is what we call business intelligence. So this is about understanding the business, looking at some basic tools of how to manage the business, right? So we had, at that time, a lot of new computing hardware came about, and there were the first generation of data scientists who were able to support and use a lot of this data as understanding what's going on in the business, right? So that's analytics 1.0. A few years later, it moved on to 2.0. So this is what we call big data. So now what happens is we are getting bigger and faster number crunching software and the appropriate hardware to support it. So what happens here is with all these new tools, there is ability to handle larger amounts of data, more line items, more transactions are being able to be viewed. And in Analytics 2.0, there's a lot of so-called unstructured data. And what happens then is we put it into organized databases. And then we also have this group of people, the initial group that form the foundation of data scientists to be better and better known and recognized. So that is Analytics 2.0. The next step is Analytics 3.0. So this is data-enriched offerings. Today, you'll hear this term IoT, the Internet of Things. So Internet of Things is basically the explosion in the growth of a lot of sensors, right? Sensing hardware. So it could be a camera, it could be a light indicator, it could be a counter, and all these bits of technology are now located everywhere. They can be in your organization, they can be remotely put somewhere. It could be in the lampposts, right, and so on. So what happens is you have a whole lot of data measuring equipment, right? And now with the increase in the amount of data, you will then need to start analyzing the data. So this is followed by improvements in search algorithms and ways to handle, ways to treat this amount of data. So IoT has actually brought in a whole lot of devices, and this whole lot of devices is generating a lot of data. So all this data then needs to be measured, needs to be compiled, needs to be analyzed, and that's where we are at the moment. So that is how analytics has moved or is moving. So what's next? So first of all, everyone is talking about the next step, the next level of evolution, Analytics 4.0, which is quantum analytics. So what is quantum analytics? It is using the next generation of computers. So today we have computers running at the gigahertz level, right? The next level is going to be faster and more focused. So in theory, right, what's going to happen is we are getting computing is all about bits and bytes and small amounts of data, and data can be measured and stored at certain level. So now if you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, the smallest point you can get is the atomic or subatomic level. So that is actually how dense your data storage can be. So it means that you actually have a physical limit, and at subatomic and molecular level, you have huge amounts of computing power that is far greater than what we have today. So you have quantum computing as the next level, right? With huge amounts of data storage, huge speeds in terms of data manipulation and so on. So that's something that that's going to happen soon, right? Who's involved with that? Of course, the bigger companies like IBM, Google, Microsoft have all got labs in that area, but it's still a while before full-scale computing, quantum computing can take off. And as a byproduct, quantum analytics as well. So are we at analytics 4.0? The sad thing is we are still struggling with analytics 2.0, which is the big data part. And we are still trying to get and weave in all the new hardware that's come onto the market. So in other words, the Internet of Things, analytics 3.0 is also playing a lot of catch up, right? So it's a bit of catch up for analytics 2.0 and a lot of catch up for analytics 3.0, right? So so it looks like we'll just have to wait for a while before the next generation comes in. So right now we're still at about 2.0 to 3.0 at that level. So how is it important to us, right? So we know that things are happening, things are changing, computing is getting more powerful, tools for analysis are getting faster and sharper. So how can we, as business people, use data analytics? So we need to ask a few questions. Number one, how does an organization benefit? Number two, how much is it? What does it cost? And should we spread it? Should everyone be using it? So let's look at, first of all, how an organization will benefit. So this is about lunchtime. So sorry to show you pictures of food. This is just a short tour of a supermarket. Okay, so that's a short tour of a supermarket. So based on what we've seen in the supermarket, you can see that any specific supermarket, right? Whichever, whether it's your NTUC or cold storage or any of your others, what you can see is a analysis of supermarket business is normally done at the point of sale, or POS, right? What is your POS for the supermarket? Is basically your checkout counter, right? As you check out your food, the checkout person, right, will be scanning up your items, and they were building up a list, and that list is information to bill you how much you're going to pay. But that same information is then used by the supermarket to decide who are the customers and what they are buying, right? So if you take, say, a supermarket, a chain of supermarkets in Singapore, and take, say, a period of 1 month, right? What's going to happen in that 1 month is you're going to see, based on the amount of transactions, the amount of sales at the ticket, at the checkout counter, things like what are the best-selling items, right? And not only a best-selling item, but each location, each site will have their own list, right? Things like the best-selling item, how many of those items does a customer buy at a time, right? Does the customer buy 5, 10, or what is the pattern? The other thing that you might ask is when and where do customers buy it? So, for example, what time of the day do they buy it, right? Or specifically, which part of the day? Is it just before work? Is it they take a quick lunch break from the office and go and buy something? Or just after work? Or maybe an evening out leisurely to after dinner to buy food, right? And not only that, who participates and what is the outlet they are in. All right, so that is what we need to do to understand what's happening. The next thing we need to look at is what can you sell? What can you sell? What can you upsell? Okay, so it means that if you are selling something, can you find a way to sell more of that product? So if customers buy 2 or 3 items, right, per week, per visit, can we persuade them to buy more? Which items can we upsell? And we also know that we have this group of customers coming in. What else can we sell to them? In other words, what can we cross-sell? Right? They're already buying something from us. What other things can we persuade them to buy? And we also can see the patterns of the product lines or the products that are not doing very well, right? So in other words, you find that customers are now buying less and less of a particular product line. So does it mean that it's no longer in fashion, or customers do not need it anymore, right? I mean, like for example, Singapore. Now we are quite hopefully far away from COVID, so we know that masks and gloves are not sold as much as they were, say, 2.5 years ago, right? So those are patterns we can see. So some things are going down, and for the supermarket, does it make sense if something is dropping below a certain sales level? Does it still make sense for the supermarket to keep a shop space to store things? Okay, so that is what we can benefit. We can also ask the question, when we do have offers, how well did the offer work in terms of persuading people to buy, right? So you had an advert to say that, come and buy this item, it's going at a very attractive price, and suddenly is a surge in buying. So we can also tell what product offers work well and which is the right time to have the offer. We also look at this thing called complementary products. Okay, so I need to clarify, complementary is spelled P-L-E-M-E-N-T-A-R-Y, different from P-L-I, right? P-L-I is free of charge, FOC. Complementary, P-L-E, means matching sets. So in other words, which items go hand in hand with other items. So if we have blades, right, the shaver stick, you also sell it together with blades, right? If you have your soap dispensers, right, your soap in the hard container where you can do a dispense, you also need refill packs, right? Or if you have a towel dispenser, kitchen towel, you also need to have kitchen towel to match the dispenser. So in other words, which complementary products can you introduce? Because we know that people are buying the blades, the razors, people are buying the soap dispensers and the towel dispensers. So can we make sure that the matching refills and complementary products are pushed based on those sales. What else do we need to know? Supermarket has a lot of perishable items, food and meat, right? And fruits. So what percentage of perishable goods get sold before their sell-by date? So if we know that there is a particular set of perishable goods that always gets wasted, right? Because customers don't buy it in time, we might actually think of having some kind of campaigns, right? So that we push all these items so that they don't get wasted, right? So we can ask, is such a thing possible? What else? What else is on our wish list? We also need to know what seasonal products do well in specific periods, right? So when the season comes in, for example, now is mooncakes, right? How early, how late should you introduce the sales of mooncakes, right? So those are things that business owners would like to know in the supermarket. So you can see that when you ask these questions and you have these questions answered well, what is going to happen is, based on all these recommendations, the organization, in this case, the supermarket, will have higher sales revenues. They are going to have less food wastage, and they are going to understand their customers better, right? And as a result of having the better customer engagement, they will probably have a better market reputation. So those are things that supermarket could gain, right, from these kind of analysis. So if you look at some of the bigger companies, they are doing the same thing. If we see PepsiCo, of course, we know them as Pepsi Cola, but we also know that, for example, they sell other products, for example, Quaker Oats. So what PepsiCo did was they have their own cloud-based data and analytics platform. This is an in-house one called PepWorks, and they use their own in-house analytics to decide certain things about the product. So they looked at this product, and first of all, they said, according to our data, we have 24 million households out of 110 million in US who would most likely be interested in Quaker overnight oats, right? And how did they get this? They probably used other Quaker products that the customers are buying, and they could make this claim. So once you've done that and make this hypothesis, then you identify specific retailers that these households might actually buy for this particular product. And what PepsiCo did was they launched this product directly to this group of customers. And what they found was, in the first 12 months after the launch, they went up 80% of the product sales growth, right? Very, very sharp increase, right? So this is because they use analytics to decide what products sell well to whom, and then make a informed guess as to which group of customers would like this particular product, and they targeted that group of customers. All right, so that is one case, targeting customers at PepsiCo. Other uses of analytics tool. Okay, so of course, PepsiCo used data-driven decision-making. They used the past data, they found trends, and based on that, they made certain assumptions, and it paid off. Other companies, not in food, the other example is Microsoft, right? So as we know, Microsoft has a lot of engineers. And in Microsoft's case, they wanted to know whether it makes sense if the engineers collaborate more effectively if they switch from the 5 buildings to 4 buildings. So in other words, they have 5 main buildings where their engineers are housed, and in the process of doing their work, they have a lot of meetings. So what they did was, they said, what if I remove one of the buildings and rehouse all my engineers in the remaining 4 buildings? So what they found was people located closer in a building are more likely to collaborate. So all those within the same building, easy to collaborate. All those within the same floor, even better. They found that a distance of 100 feet may be no better than several miles. So the moment I put you 100 feet away, it doesn't matter whether you're 100 feet away or whether you're 10 miles away. The level of collaboration is about the same, right? It's only when you're much closer, then suddenly we collaborate more. Once you're beyond a certain distance, whether it's 100 feet or several miles, it's about the same. What else did Microsoft find? They found that even at short distances, say 3 feet versus 20 feet, right? There is a drop of collaboration when you go beyond a certain distance, right? So within the same floor, right? Maybe, or within one end of the floor and the other end, you can see lots of differences. So Microsoft actually used analytics to come up with these kind of conclusions. So first thing is how did you get the data? All right, so of course your source of data in this case will probably be your online meeting booking system, right? So Microsoft meeting rooms are normally a centralized online booking system. So they used analytics to target the online meeting booking system. What did they find? So they found that before, when you had 5 buildings, right, the average travel time per employee was much higher, right? The moment they consolidated the buildings, the offices are now closer together, and you find that the average travel time per employee is now much lower, right? So in the minutes, it's dropped from about 1.5 minutes to about under 1 minute. So that is travel time. What about meeting attendance? So we find that when you had more buildings, you're further away, this was the number of meetings you had. And the moment they consolidated and are closer together, you find that the meetings actually went up, right? So after the move, they have more meetings per employee, right? So you might ask, what about this and this? Okay, this one very simple. This is November, so this is Thanksgiving. And this one is 1 week Christmas, 1 week New Year, right? So that's the reason. So you can see that Microsoft used analytics to confirm the hypothesis that people would collaborate better. And they found that this was based on the information on how long it took you to get to the meetings, and also what were the number of meetings. Okay, so that is a couple of cases how they used analytics to make decisions. Okay, so should we buy an analytics system? Yeah, perhaps. So what does it cost for data analytics? So we have multiple factors. First is the amount of data, the quality of data that you have, what you need your analytics for, and of course, what tools you're going to use. how are you going to customize it, and how does your organization react to updates and so on. So if you look at, say, a custom enterprise grade data system, could be about $150,000, about 200K to build and implement, right? And then, of course, you then need to hire your people. You need to have space and some running costs and so on, right? If you decide to go for the software as a service or SaaS base, right? What you then do is you get a third party to rent you the system or lease you the system, and that could be about 10,000 to 25,000 per year for vendor and maintenance fees, right? So those are some typical numbers that we have. So if you want to get your cost down and get your quicker ROI, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to be very clear. What are your data objectives? Why do you want the data? What is your data management strategy? What are you using the data for? And is it in line with what your stakeholders need? Okay, so that's what's going to cost. So, of course, big companies like Microsoft and PepsiCo, they have their own in-house departments, so they just fund their own experts, right? So they just pay for the office space, they pay for the salaries of all the team members, and that will be sort of an in-house department. So that is the cost. So should we use it? Should everyone use it? So what affects the cost? First thing is, what's the amount of data we are going to churn? What are your objectives? Based on your data analytics objectives, we then can decide what tools you can use. Of course, the data analytics vendors will be charging you their fees. And data analytics software normally needs some kind of customization and development. Is your company willing to change? Are you looking at making the change? So is your organization agile enough? So at the end of it, it is still a business decision, right? And you will have to make it based on your ROI, how much you're going to get back, and so on, right? So if your business volume is small and you get a small change in using the analytics, perhaps it may not be economically viable. So you still have to look at what it's going to cost and how much you can benefit. And therefore, it is still a business decision that needs to be made. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Any questions?
Mohan, while they're actually watching, I'm sorry, thinking of their questions, you can actually write down your questions on the chat, or while you're thinking about it, maybe I can call on Dr. Fred Otanes first. He's the Dean of Ascensus Institute to share with us more about the PGD. You're still on mute, so please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Marilyn. Wow, I'm so impressed with Mohan's presentation. I don't know about you, but because I'm an academics, so I think this is a very comprehensive yet simple like overview of data analytics. Okay, thank you so much, Mohan. right? I'm so proud of you that you're one of our lecturers. So you can see, we especially picked practitioners like Mohan in our postgraduate diploma, leading to the MBA with Arden University. So we have a collaboration with Arden University, which is based in UK, and the program is called Postgraduate Diploma in Management, actually, right? And then it's a 6-module course, which can be finished. If you are doing the full-time mode, you'll finish this in 6 months. If part-time, you're a working student, and you can finish this in 9 months. And after that, there'll be a 6-month period by which to finish just one single project. In other words, Arden University, in UK. Arden University has centers in UK and also in Germany, right? So our postgraduate diploma, the 6 modules have been articulated to this university lock, stock, and barrel, meaning to say you don't have to take any other module, right? So take it here in Singapore, in Ascensus Institute, and then they will just require one project, right? And then they will confer the Master in Business Administration. Okay, all my years in this education and training space since the 1990s, I never saw anything like this. But because it doesn't mean that we are like churning students, for the sake of issuing certificates. So you can see the standard that we get from Arden is, from a well-known establishment. In fact, they're winning a lot of awards in the area of business education. Okay, and rest assured that here in Ascensus, with our experience and with all the, like the practitioners, the lecturers that we have, we are trying our best to make sure that the standards are good. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible to pass the postgraduate diploma. Yeah. So we're also practitioners ourselves, and we know what are applicable in the market. That's why we make our courses very, very interesting. If you just allow us to help and present this to you, and you will find this very different program that we have here. So in case you have any questions, just approach our course consultants. Yeah, we have Christina May, or you can go to our website, ascensus.edu.sg, and you can email us using our inquiry at ascensus.edu.sg email address. So thank you so much, Marilyn, and thank you, Mohan. See you in class. Right.
Please give me a moment.
Okay, so I see that some in the chat here, I saw some comments. Let me just help Marilyn. Okay, go ahead,
We
Marilyn.
actually have a question here, like which university. So I have attached some of the courses we have on PGD. And again, you can if you can share your contact details as well, where they can reach you for any additional inquiries about our postgraduate diploma, which leads to MBA as well. And I have a question for Mohan. Again, thank you so much for an amazing session. I really love how it actually flowed from like understanding what the topic is towards like what's in it for me, right? And you actually managed to even give us like a lot of case studies in a very short period of time. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I mean, it's a trend that we've always heard about AI, and obviously I would say that AI can also be used for data analytics, right? And one of the things that AI do very well is really like leveraging or making use of big datas, right? I hope I understand it right. At least that's what I believe in, like how AI is being used. So I'm curious to know in terms of this, right? So how can we leverage in AI to do this data analytics or business analytics when it comes to that?
Okay, so we of course we know the trend, how machines have come about, how the development of technology is moving,
Mhm.
and what are some of the constraints. To answer your question, first of all, maybe we need to talk about machine learning,
Mhm.
right? So machine learning is actually part of artificial intelligence. So this is where the machine automatically look at patterns, and then what they do is they are then these new patterns are then part of the next level of programming, right? So what happens is we see where the machines can do better, and we try to teach the machines to learn. So once machines can learn, then we move on to the next step, which is called deep learning. So this is actually what happens is we have to design the machines like a neural net, like the brain, the way the human brain works. So the machine's hardware architecture also are designed the same way. And we are trying to make machines think like humans. And then what's going to happen next is machines are going to look at the complex patterns and make predictions. And this is all going to be done without human inputs. All right. So this is where AI comes in. So you notice a lot of AI tools are doing a lot of things that we used to do ourselves. And why is this happening? Is because we're teaching machines to think like humans. And once machines think like humans, we can get a lot out of them. Of course, there's another group of scientists who are a bit cautious, and I think you might have seen in the news to say that, okay, let's slow down AI development until we get a better feel of things, right? So these are the people who think too much about things like the Terminator, right? So if you're not careful, we might actually end up with that. So that's just something to think about.
Thank you for answering that question. And we've been actually hearing a lot around data analytics, AI, and how they are actually integrated for humans to leverage. But as you mentioned about Terminator, it like poses this question to most humans: can it actually like replace human, or can it's also like it's amazing because we can leverage on technology, but at the same time it's scary, right? Because if it's used wrongly, then like how
Sure.
So thank you for that. And any other questions when it comes to data analytics, business analytics, or how can it benefit you on your current role? Any questions from anyone? No questions. So far, I'm not seeing any questions.
And anyone interested in a career in data analytics?
By the way, can I also add that our postgraduate diploma has 3 tracks or streams.
Mhm.
So we have the SME management major. We also have a major in business analytics. And we also have a major in digital marketing.
Yes, that's what I've actually shared in terms of the links. So you can find out more on like what are we covering, or what are the courses that will be part of these majors. Yes. Any other questions from anyone here? If there's no more questions, I would say this is the end of the session. This will be recorded so that those who registered and did not make it, we will actually be sharing this. Anything else from Mohan, from Dr. Fred, before we end this session?
I'm okay. Good. Thanks.
Okay. Would you like to have a group picture before we end this session? If you can turn on your cameras, please do so that we can have like a group photo for this session. Thank you, Nicole. Peter, thank you. Yes, Roger. Now we can see like all the handsome and beautiful faces, right? So in a count of 3, I will take the photo. Smile, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much for making time for this session, Mohan, especially for bringing us through business analytics and data analytics. And thank you everyone for participating and joining us today. And see you again in our next session, which will be on October 20. This time, you have to be in Singapore to join us because it's going to be a live session, face-to-face in GMT. And to register, just go to Eventbrite and register through this link. Okay. So make sure to press the link before we end this session so that you can also register for the October 20 session. Thank you so much again, Mohan, for sharing with us this wonderful session. And thank you everyone for joining us. Bye for now.